Welcome back to my channel Bloom with Belief.
And today we are going to discuss about the topic algae with let's start from the general introduction of it. So algae and this is study of algae is called as phycology or algology. Is called as phycology or algology, commonly called as the children of the sea. It is called commonly as the children of the sea. First of all, study is called as the phycology, which is also known as algology. It's commonly called as the children of the sea. Talking about the father of phycology or algology, he was F.E. Fritsch. Talking about the term algae, it was first introduced by the famous scientist Carolus Linnaeus. It was derived from the Latin word alga, that means seaweed. Algae are the primitive plants, obviously, with a thalloid body. It means that the body is not differentiated into root, stem, and leaves. That is, it is not differentiated into any parts. Likewise, they are also known to be the earliest photosynthetic organisms on the earth. They are the earliest photosynthetic organisms on earth. It includes both prokaryotic, which includes the B.Sc, that is also known as cyanobacteria, blue-green algae or blue-green algae, and the eukaryotic organisms. And one universal thing is that chlorophyll A is found in all algae. Likewise, the Earth's oxygen supply, with 50% of Earth's oxygen supply, is totally promoted by algae. Now, talking about the cell wall, it is of two-layered, where the outer layer, let's see here, let's say this is the outer layer of a cell wall that is made up of pectin. So here this pectin dissolves slowly in water. When the rainwater is poured over the algae, the pectin that is present on the outer layer gets dissolved. That forms a mucilage or mucilaginous covering that is slimy in touch, that is slippery in touch, and this slippery nature prevents it from desiccation. That is also known as decay. Got it? Likewise, the cell wall is main component. Likewise, this inner part. This is the pectin, and this is the two layers from outer layer. Talking about its inner layer, it is made up of cellulose, that is for strength and stability. Got it? After that, talking about its main component, the cell wall is made up of cellulose, and in diatoms it has silicified cell wall. It has silicified cell wall. So this is an unique feature. In case of diatoms, it has silicified cell wall. The made of cell wall is made up of silica. The diatoms are under class Bacillariophyceae. Bacillariophyceae. So this is also an objective question. You can remember it. Next one is the Chara, the order Charales, and in its cell wall there is the deposition of calcium carbonate. So you may be asked in your examination, in your objective question, that which of the following algae has calcium carbonate deposition in its cell wall? Then your option might, your options will have the answer. One of it will be the Chara. That is your correct answer. And talking about the next one, that is the blue-green algae or cyanobacteria, its cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. And this peptidoglycan is also known as murine. Is also known as murine, mucopeptide, etc. Next one is the vegetary body, that is already called that it is made up of thallus, that is not differentiated into root, stem and leaves. Likewise, talking about the appearance of, as it is green here, this is because of the presence of chlorophyll. So it is a chlorophyll bearing plant with absence of vascular tissue, that is non-vascular. It is predominantly aquatic plants which have the six organs, usually unicellular or multicellular, with all cells fertile. It has all six organs fertiles in it, but there is an exception in the class Carels. It is the class Carels, one of the class given by Fritsch, with there are a total of 11 classes, and among them Carels is one of them. And this is the figure that gives us the common example of the class Carels, that is Cara, that has, again, remember which kind of cell wall deposition it has? Calcium carbonate deposition in its cell wall. Now, talking about this interesting feature, that the largest algae. What is the largest algae? So there are the types of kelp. Talking about its scientific name is called as Macrocystis pyrifera, commonly called as giant kelp. This is the largest algae which can grow up to 60 meters, that is 200 feet long. Macrocystis pyrifera, giant kelp, 60 meters to, it can grow up to 60 meters, that is 200 feet long. So you can see it is so vast that hundreds of species can survive inside this area. It can make their habitat. Got it? Hundreds of species habitat. Likewise, interesting fact is it grows 2 feet per day. It grows 2 feet per day. So these are some interesting facts about the largest algae, that is Macrocystis pyrifera, and this is the figure. Likewise, talking about the total photosynthesis that gives us oxygen, that is it performs over 90% of the total photosynthesis on Earth. That has an huge contribution in case of photosynthesis on Earth. Talking about it is chlorophyllous and non-vascular, as already is mentioned, and likewise there is no embryo formation. This is a very big, interesting, important in case of objective questions that you'll be facing. That the which of the following has no embryo formation after fertilization in their life cycle? So your answer will be algae. Okay, there is no embryo formation after fertilization in their life cycle. Now, talking about the six organs, they are unicellular and non-jacketed, and they are called as gametangia. What are they called? Gametangia. Now, talking about the you can say this is the meiosis. So its meiosis is of zygotic type, that is zygotic type. Likewise, talking about the life cycle, it has haploidic life cycle. This is the major. Many of the algae has haploidic life cycle, but some of the algae also shows the diploidic type of life cycle. So this is the objective questions where you will have an option that there is the fucus. Mainly, it is asked that which of the following has the diploidic life cycle in case of algae. So your answer will be fucus. And next one is the haplodiploidic type of life cycle, which is found in the algae Ictocarpus. So these are the two objective questions that should be remembered by you. And talking about the flagella, mainly it has acronymatic type of flagella. We will discuss it in detail below, but mostly it has acronymatic type of flagella, and they are mostly aquatic, that is found in the fresh water, and in detail we'll talk about the different kinds of habitat in which different kinds of algae are found. And talking about found in freshwater, there are mainly simple examples of Oedogonium and Spirogyra, mainly asked in the objective options. And next one is the marine, that is of Alba, Laminaria, Microcystis, and Sargassum. So these are the four marine aquatic algae given examples that should be remembered by you. So yes or so, okay. Spirogyra and Oedogonium is found in the freshwater. And in case of marine, this is Alba. And there is another question may be asked in case which of the following algae is also known as sea lettuce? Then your answer will be what? Alba. Your option will have this as your answer. So it is also known as sea lettuce. It's like this, which is in parenchymatous form. This is also known as the algae with the parenchymatous thallus. That is of common example is, so that is Alba. So Alba will be your answers of different questions. So now let's move forward. Talking about its life cycle, it has a distinct alternation of generations. That is, both the gametophytic and saprophytic generations are found, which are present in the life cycle and they are independent to each other. So, now talking about the nutrition and the pigmentation in the algae. So most algae are autotrophic, that is, they are able to prepare their own food through the process, that is the photosynthesis, and some are the heterotrophic, that is obtaining the nutrients from the external environment or external organic sources. And talking about the reserve food material, its reserve food is starch, which is stored in the pyrenoid. Now, this will be a point that should be formal, and you will be asked in this in some kind in the objective question. So this line should be understood by you all. Pyrenoid consists of a centrally placed protein core, which is surrounded by the peripheral starch layers. So pyrenoid consists of centrally placed protein, and this is the protein cores, and the periphery is surrounded by the starch layers. So this is the pyrenoid. It consists of central core as protein and peripheral layers as the starch layers. So these two things, this line is an important line for you to remember, memorize. And talking about the types of chloroplast based on the shape, there are some examples, okay. So you have been familiar in your entire study with the Spirogyra, its life cycle, and many more. So the Spirogyra is spiral shaped. Example with a spiral shaped chloroplast is found in Spirogyra. Remember this all type, okay? Each one is important for your objective questions. In case of cup shaped chloroplast, it is present in Chlamydomonas, that is a biflagellate algae, from where the flagella are obtained from the blepharoplast. And next one is the chlorella. This is a green algae. This both have cup-shaped chloroplast in them. And talking about the reticulate or net-like chloroplast, it is found in the Oedogonium and Cladophora. The options might be present there is both, sometimes Oedogonium, sometimes Cladophora, but you have to remember that the Oedogonium and Cladophora both have reticulate or red-like chloroplast in them. And next one is the griddle or horseshoe-shaped or collar-shaped chloroplast. Griddle, horseshoe-shaped or collar-shaped. Every these terms represent the same shape of the chloroplast, and your answer will be Eulothrix, horseshoe-shaped. Eulothrix, and then the stellate or star-shaped. This is in figure where there is a star-shaped chloroplast like this. This is of example is Jagnema. Okay. Next one is the discoid shaped chloroplast, that is present in Cara and Nutella. Present in Cara and Nutella. Have you memorized it? Give your brain a great concentration. Besides some, you habit of making the mnemonics, but sometimes you can, besides remembering the mnemonics, it's better that you remember the things itself. There is no better mnemonics. You can make yourself if you can, but that is the simple is Spirogyrus spiral shaped, Chlamydomonas and chlorella cup shaped, reticulate or net like Oidiconium and Cladophora, griddle or horseshoe shaped or collar shaped of Eulothrix, star shaped or stellate Zygnema, discoid, Cara and Nutella. Now move to the pigments. Now the common pigments that is found in the algae are chlorophyll A and carotene. I have already mentioned that chlorophyll A is present in all the algae. Likewise, carotene also present in all algae. Talking about the group specific pigments, you have to remember this. It is also one objective question. That is chlorophyll B is present in green algae. Green algae is the common name and the class you can, if you are familiar with three classes till now, that is Chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae and Rhodophyceae in plus 2 level, and the uh, Chlorophyceae is the green algae where the specific pigment here is chlorophyll B in case of green algae. Chlorophyll C in case of Phaeophyceae, that is brown algae. Brown algae, before Christ, you can remember like this, B.C., where brown algae has chlorophyll C. In case of green algae, you can remember by its like BZ, like this also, but there will be a kind of confusion. So remember that green algae has B-shaped chlorophyll and chlorophyll B, sorry, and Phaeophyceae, there is a brown algae has chlorophyll C in it, and Rhodophyceae red. This can be easy for you because there is D in the red algae. Okay, so it has chlorophyll D in it. It is very easy to remember. Next one is the chlorophyll E, that is Xanthophyceae, that is yellow green algae. Xanthophyceae has chlorophyll E in it. Like it is yellow green algae, chlorophyll E in case of Xanthophyceae. So these are the major questions that may be asked. Likewise, in case of talking about the locomotion, I have told you that most of them had the acronymatic type, but it has algae as both motile flagella, that is acronymatic type, and pantonymatic type. Acronymatic type is also known as whiplash type. Whiplash type. You can see here in the figure for your more clearance. There is no hair like a mastigonemes, like it whiplash. Like here you can see there is no hair like mastigonemes. The hair like mastigonemes is present in pantonymatic. So here whiplash or acronymatic type. A means acro. Mainly there is if there is presence of A, then you will just have to make your mind that there is absence of something. Like that you can remember there is absence of mastigonemes, that is hair like structures. So in the whiplash or acronymatic type, they have a smooth surface with no hair like mastigonemes in its structure, that is seen in case of green algae. It is mainly seen in the green algae, and in case of next one, that is tin cell, where there is presence of hair like mastigonemes, and this is commonly found in the brown and some other algae. Okay, now let's move forward with the talking about types of algae. So based on the habitat, there are different types of algae. Now let's talk about each with its common examples that will be present in your options in the objective questions. Focusing on this, let's start with the planktonic algae. Planktonic means they are the free floating in water bodies. There is a common example of volvox. After just when you listen this word, you are very familiar that it is a colonial algae. Okay, found in colony. Second one is the benthic algae. Benthic means it is attached to the bottom. Benthic is means just bottom of BB. Benthic bottom or submerged surfaces. Benthic algae, that is Batrachospermum. Like this, you can remember benthic algae attached to the bottom or submerged surfaces with an example Batrachospermum. And next one is the periphytic algae. Periphytic algae is attached to submerged objects like stones or plants, like for example Cladophora. And next one is the epiphytic algae, which is growing on the surface of other aquatic plants, that is Ectocarpus. For epiphytic, Ectocarpus, it grows on the surface of other aquatic plants. And talking about the endophytic algae, it is living inside the tissue of other plants or algae. That is, and one example is nostoc in the coralloid roots of cycas. Nostoc in the coralloid roots of cycas. So this is a cycas plant, okay, and in these roots there is coralloid roots. These roots found in the type of cycas are the coralloid roots, and the coralloid roots there is presence of the algae nostoc, and this presence in the coralloid root of cycas, it is mentioned as in case of habitat, it is an endophytic algae, that is it lives inside the tissue of other plants or algae. And next one is the very important, very easy to remember, that is the thallus of Anthocerus. Anthocerus is an hornwort. It is a bryophyte, common example of hornwort, or commonly known as hornwort. Anthocerus, it is like this type of structures, and these are the horn-like structures, so they are also known as hornwort. This is the case, and in this their thallus consists of nostoc. So there is presence of nostoc in the bryophyte thallus. And so two examples of endophytic algae to places. One is the nostoc and next one is the anovena in case of the two algae. And the presence of nostoc is found in two parts. This is a very important. Each point I have described today is one objective question. You have to see in that way. Nostoc in the coralloid roots of cycas and in the thallus of Anthocerus, that is the hornwort. And next one is the anapiana. Anapiana is an algae where that is present in the leaves of a plant, that is Azolla. It is smallest aquatic endophyte. Every sentence has even two answers, two objective questions. That Azolla is the smallest aquatic endophyte, highlighted, commonly used as also as a biofertilizer, that is due to its nitrogen fixing ability. So the two endophytic algae are Anaviana and Nostoc. Any one in between the two can be in the option. You have to find the correct one. Now let's move to the another algae habitat, that is epizoic type, that is growing on the surface of animals. Epizoic, epi means surface of, the zoic means Jews, animals. Is clear with its name, and example is very important. Example is this Trichophilus wilkeri, that is on the sloth hair. Sloth, it is a kind of bear, very slow motion, very slow motility animal, and this is Trichophilus wilkeri is the algae that is present on his hair. Another is the endozoic, that is inside the animals, that is on the, this one is the ep, that is on the surface, and endo means that is inside the living animal tissues. That is a very common example, Zoochlorella in hydra. Another is chlorella inside paramecium. In case of Hydra, there is chlorella, one of the example, and another is the chlorella only, that is inside paramecium. Next one is the epilytic or lithophytic. Litho is commonly, you remember, is at growing on the rocks. It is related to rock, but there may be another term, so I have mentioned here, that is epilytic. So both epilytic and lithophytic algae, that is same, epilytic or lithophytic, that is it grows on the rocks, and rock growing, that is ribularia. Rock growing, that is ribularia. And another is the endolithic algae, that is it lives inside the rocks or the coral skeletons, and it is example is the ostriobium quaketii. Ostriobium quaketii. And another is the epiphyllophyte algae. Epiphylic or epiphyllophyte algae, that is it grows on the leaf surfaces. That is of example Phycopetis. It grows on the leaf surfaces, and that the algae is Phyco. Like psycho, it is Phyco. Phycopetis. Petis, like it can sounds like um, epiphylic, epiphyllophyte, and Phycopetis. Now another is epiphyllophytes, that is it grows on the bark. Like epiphylic, it is on leaves. Epiphyllophytes is growing on the bark of tree, that is Scytonema. Scytonema growing on the bark of tree. Another is the terrestrial algae, that is it grows on the moist soil surface, that is Nostoc communi. Likewise, talking about another is the halophilic. Halo means saline environments, salt loving, like that is highly saline environments living type of bacteria. It's commonly, you are very familiar with its example, that is Dunaliella salina. Another is the thermophilic algae, thermo, that is in hot areas, like living in the hot springs or thermal waters. Example is the Oscillatoria brevis, common example. And the final one is the cryophilic. Cryo, like cryopreservation, is a kind of snow algae that is living on the snow and ice. That different type of algae shows different colors in the snow, and likewise, it has been named is commonly the red snow is by the snow, that is Chlamydomonas nivalis. And another question here is asked that which of the following algae is related with the red snow? Then your answer will be Chlamydomonas nivalis. Remember this, Chlamydomonas nivalis is for the red snow.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, and share.